So home prices in Ontario, California are down. Zillow shows it, Redfin shows it, and the local Realtors Association's newest report shows it. Meanwhile, the national median is sitting near record highs. The smartest buyers I'm working with right now are looking at exactly this kind of gap. And here's what's actually happening in Ontario and why this window won't stay open. I'm John Abril. I'm a licensed real estate broker and a licensed mortgage broker right here in the Inland Empire. And based on the state's DRE zone licensing data, fewer than 6% of California licensees hold both licenses. I'm one of them, and I run my own mortgage brokerage. Now, why does this matter for this video? Because the Ontario story isn't just about prices, it's about payments. And I'm one of the few who can walk you through both sides. What homes are actually selling for and what they're actually going to cost you every single month. So let's get into it. Now, let's start with the headline. I'm going to give you every major source because I know you're going to go to Google after this video and start checking stuff. And that's what you should be doing. Zillow has Ontario's typical home value at about $629,000, down about 1% year over year. Redfin has the median sales price in the mid 600s, down a couple percent. And the newest report from IVAR, our local Realtors Association, shows Ontario's April median is at about $643,000, down 4% from a year ago. Three different sources, three different methods, and the same place, low to mid 600s and down. The only debate is by how much. Now, compare that to the neighbors from the same April report, Rancho Cucamonga, right next door. It's at about $770,000. Chino Hills is around $1 million. Upland is in the 800s. Now, same freeways, same airport, same job market. And Ontario is roughly $130,000 cheaper than Rancho Cucamonga, a six-figure discount, one city apart. Here's my rule of thumb. Every $10,000 less you borrow saves you roughly $75 a month on your total payment. So the gap between Ontario and Rancho Cucamonga, depending on your down payment, that's close to $1,000 every single month for 30 years. That's a car payment. That's daycare. That's real life spending money. So why is Ontario down when the national market isn't? Well, there's two things. First, homes are sitting longer. Redfin's latest data shows Ontario homes taking weeks longer to sell than they did a year ago. And the seller watching their listing sit is a seller who is ready to talk. Second, rates. The 30-year fixed average rate is at 6.48% as of June 4th. According to Freddie Mac, rates touched 6% back in February, then jumped with oil prices and inflation spikes this spring. That priced some buyers out. And the buyers who left created that opening you're looking at right now. Now, here's the part that matters. A slower market hands the leverage back to buyers. Sellers in Ontario are negotiating on price, on closing costs, on repairs. Per IVAR, homes across the region are selling right at or just under asking on average. A far cry from over-asking bidding wars a couple of years ago. List price is the ceiling now, not the floor. So asking for credits isn't rude, it's just normal. Now, what does that low to mid 600s actually get you in Ontario? Well, in most Southern California coastal cities, that money might get you a condo and a prayer. In Ontario, it buys you an actual single family home. And in the newer South Ontario communities, you're looking at newer construction, modern layouts, and master plan communities, neighborhoods, built in the last several years. And location-wise, you're sitting on top of Ontario International Airport, the 10, the 15, the 60 freeways. If you're relocating here for logistics, healthcare, anything tied to that Ontario Airport corridor, you can live where you work instead of commuting an hour each way. Now, here's what nobody is saying. Nationally, prices are not broadly dropping. The National Association of Realtors has the median U.S. price at around $430,000 for May, near record for the month. So Ontario being down by every source I'm looking at, while the national prices sit near record highs, that's not a broken market. That's a local discount in a national market that keeps climbing. Those windows close usually fast. And this is where most real estate videos stop because most agents can't go here. I can because I hold a mortgage license and a real estate broker's license as well. So let's talk about the trap that I see in Ontario's new construction communities, the builder's special rate. So when you walk into a model home and the sales office says, use our preferred lender and we'll give you a 5.75% rate or even lower. Now that sounds amazing next to the 6.5% rate world that we're living in right now. Here's what they don't tell you. That buy down, it isn't free. It's usually baked into the cake somewhere. The price of the home, or it replaces other credits that you could have negotiated. Sometimes a builder's deal costs you more over 5 years than a clean price reduction with outside financing. All I'm saying is double check your facts and figures. How would you ever know? You would actually need someone who can run both sides and do the math. The purchase price side and then the loan side. That's exactly what I do because I'm your broker on both the real estate side and the lending side. Now let me show you what real numbers look like at today's market average. Here's a sample. A 30-year fixed conventional rate on a purchase with a loan amount of $512,000. That's on a $640,000 Ontario home, right at the latest median price with 20% down and an interest rate of 6.5%. That comes out to about $3,236.19 a month, principal and interest. That does not include taxes, insurance, or HOA dues. This assumes an owner-occupied single-family home with 20% down and a 720 plus credit score, a 30-day lock, and 0 points. Rates do change without notice, and this is not a commitment to lend. One more thing, I've followed the bond market for 25 years, and mortgage rates follow the 10-year treasury. Right now, Fannie Mae and the Mortgage Bankers Association, both projected rates staying in the 6.3 to 6.5 range through the end of the year. Now, these are projections and not promises, but if you plan to wait for that 5% interest rate, understand on what you're betting. When rates finally do drop, every buyer who's been waiting floods back in all at once, and Ontario's discount disappears in a bidding war. So when you're looking at homes in Ontario in this price range, you're not just looking at a purchase price. You're looking into a monthly payment and whether that financing attached to the home is actually a deal or just dressed up like one. Knowing that before you write an offer is an edge most buyers never get. I want you to walk away from this video knowing what to avoid. 3 mistakes I see buyers make in Ontario right now. Mistake number 1, taking the buyer's rate without comparing. People do it because the numbers look great and the process feels easy. What it costs you? Potentially tens of thousands of dollars over the life of the loan if the buy down is priced into the home. What to do instead? Get a second quote from an independent broker before you sign the purchase agreement and compare total costs over the 5 years, not just the rate. Mistake number 2, skipping the special taxes questions in the newer communities. Many newer master plan communities in South Ontario carry special district taxes and assessments on top of the regular property tax, and that could add hundreds of dollars a month to your real payment. Buyers fall for this because the listing price looks identical to a resale home a mile away. What to do instead? Ask for the full tax rate and any special assessments in writing before you offer. Your payment is the truth, not the sticker price. Mistake number 3, waiting for that perfect rate while the discount evaporates. And I get it, 6.5 doesn't feel good if you remember the days of 3% loans. But Fannie Mae and the MBA are projecting mid-6s through the end of the year. Meanwhile, Ontario sellers are negotiating today. The cost of waiting isn't just rent. It's losing a discount most Southern California doesn't have. What to do instead? Buy the discount. If rates drop later, refinance. You can change the rate, but you can't change the purchase price. If this kind of hyper-local breakdown helps you, subscribe. I do this every week for the cities right here in the Inland Empire. And do me a favor, comment Ontario or Rancho below, whichever city you're leaning toward. It tells me exactly which deep dive to film next. and I read every single comment. And if you're past that research phase and you actually want to run your actual numbers, your income, your down payment, your timeline, the actual homes you've been seeing and saving, I do free 30-minute strategy calls. No pressure, no obligation, just 30 minutes where we figure out whether buying in Ontario makes sense for your situation right now. As both your broker and your lender, I can answer the property questions and the payment questions in one call. The link is in the description. Because remember how we started? Zillow, Redfin, the local Realtors Association, every source I'm looking at shows Ontario down, while the national market still sits near record highs and still 6 figures cheaper than next door. Windows like these don't announce when they're closing. They just close. I'll see you in the next call.